If you watched my recent Adana kebab video, you already know we're talking bold flavors, juicy meat, and serious grill marks. But what truly completes that experience, the thing you wrap it all in, serve it on, or use to soak up every last bit of flavor is lavash bread. And here's the good news. It's easier to make it at home than you'd think. Lavash is a soft, puffy flatbread that's used all across the region, from Turkey to Armenia, Iran to Syria, and while each country has their own version, one thing stays the same. It is the flatbread you want next to your kebab. Today I will show you how to make it step by step using simple ingredients and a pan you already own. So let's get started. Before we start making the dough, I want to quickly walk you through the timeline, because if you're anything like me, knowing how much time to set aside makes all the difference. This is especially true when I'm serving lavash with kebabs. You want everything warm and ready at the same time, right? Like most flatbreads, lavash is truly at its best when it's fresh off the pan, soft, warm, and ready to wrap around that smoky Adana kebab. Here's how the timing breaks down. If you're planning to serve dinner at 7, I recommend starting the dough around 5:30. You'll have plenty of time for each step and your lavash will be warm and ready to serve. And before you ask, you can totally do other things during the resting phases. It's just the rolling and cooking at the end that requires your full attention. We'll start with the yeast. Into a measuring cup, add 3/4 cup of warm water. You're looking for a temperature around 110 Fahrenheit degrees. Too hot, it can kill the yeast. Too cold, it won't activate properly. To that, add 1 teaspoon of honey or granulated sugar if that's what you have, and stir well to make sure it is fully dissolved. Next, add 1.5 teaspoon of instant yeast, which is about 5 grams. Stir it in and let it rest for about 5 minutes. You'll know it's ready when you see a thick, foamy layer on top. That's your yeast coming to life. Now, in the same measuring cup, we'll add 1/4 cup of olive oil and 1/2 cup of whole milk. We'll give that a good stir and set it aside, because we'll come back to it in a minute. Next, we'll combine 3¼ cups of all-purpose flour, 1¼ teaspoons of kosher salt in a large mixing bowl. We'll pour in the yeast mixture we set aside and start mixing. At first, we'll just work it until all the flour is incorporated and no dry spots remain. And then we'll bring it together into a rough ball. We'll knead this for about 5 minutes or until it feels soft and very sticky, which is exactly what we want. Once it's kneaded, we'll cover the bowl with a kitchen towel and let it rest in a warm spot for about 20 minutes. The dough will puff up slightly, just enough to let us know that it is relaxed and ready for the next step. Now that the dough has rested, we'll transfer it onto a lightly floured surface. We'll knead the dough by pressing it forward with the heel of our hand, folding it back over and giving it a 45-degree turn. We'll repeat that motion, press, fold, turn for about 5 minutes or until the dough feels smooth and elastic. If it is sticking too much, you can sprinkle a little more flour, 1 tablespoon at a time, or just until it becomes easier to handle. Once it's nice and smooth, we'll shape the dough into a log and divide it into 10 equal pieces. Then we'll roll each piece into a bowl, dust them lightly with flour, and place them on a plate or a tray. We'll loosely cover them with a kitchen towel and let them rest for 20 minutes. That last quick rest helps relax the dough, making it much easier to roll out later on. When we are ready to cook, we'll heat a large 12-inch non-stick skillet over high heat for about 5 minutes. If you're wondering, yes, you can absolutely use a cast iron skillet here. Both work great. Either way, the key is to get the pan really hot so the dough doesn't stick. To test, just flick a few drops of water onto the surface. If they sizzle and disappear right away, it's good to go. While the pan heats up, we'll roll out 1 dough ball into a 10-inch circle using a rolling pin and a little extra flour as needed. I'll be honest, this is where it gets a bit tricky, because getting that perfect circle is not easy, but that's not the goal here. Just do your best to keep it even and make sure it's not bigger than your pan so it fits comfortably as it cooks. Once it's rolled out, we'll carefully transfer it to the hot skillet. As soon as it hits the surface, you'll see bubbles start to form. We'll cook it for about 10 to 15 seconds, then flip. Cook for another 10 to 15 seconds and flip again. We'll keep flipping usually 3 to 4 times total until the lavash is fully cooked and it has those signature golden brown spots. As soon as it's done, we want to keep it warm. If you have a tortilla warmer or a basket, line it with a clean kitchen towel and place the freshly cooked lavash inside. Each time a new one cooks, we'll add it right into the basket, wrapping them up so they stay soft and warm. From here, it's just the rhythm: roll, cook, and wrap. I usually do this part myself, but if you got someone nearby to help, it gets a lot easier. One person can roll while the other one can cook. And if you really want to speed things up, you can keep 2 skillets going at the same time. Then all you have to do is assemble your kebabs and enjoy while they're still warm. And there you have it, puffy, pan-cooked lavash you can make right at home. Whether you're serving it with Adana kebab like we just did in our last video, or using it for wraps, dips, or even homemade chips, this is one flatbread that always delivers. If you haven't seen the Adana kebab recipe yet, I'll link it below so you can make the full spread. Also, if you're into these kinds of Mediterranean, Middle Eastern bread recipes, be sure to check out my pita bread video as well. It's yet another bread that looks fancy but easy to make. As always, if you give this recipe a try, be sure to tag me on Instagram so I can see your creations. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. The thing you wrap it in, smoky Adana kebab around. Either way, got a little. I was doing so well.